we are also continuing with conversations and work on reopening our borders, establishing travel bubbles with countries where the virus situation is under control, and having safe green lane travel arrangements with specific countries. And the idea is to have clear protocols in place that would include testing of travelers from one country to Singapore and vice versa. And with these testing protocols in place, we can have assurance that the traveler is free from infection, and then essential travel can then resume step by step, right, depending on the countries that we have established these green lanes or travel bubbles with. So that's work in progress. The conversations and the discussions we are having with countries vary, some at more advanced stages, some we are just starting. And as and when we are ready, we will announce more details on any particular country for which we have reached agreement. This will allow essential travel to resume, and particularly for businesses that are based here in Singapore, where their staff and employees need to have some travel around the region. I think this is going to be an important measure that will allow not only business to resume, but jobs to continue. And we can then ensure that Singaporeans can continue to work, not just in Singapore, but in places where they need to travel for work. Having these arrangements does not mean that we will allow mass market travel. That will take a bit longer. So the arrangements I've just described refers to essential travel, subject to all the arrangements and safeguards as I've just described, and the travel bubble that we would work out with respective countries. It's not for mass market travel, which I think would take a lot longer to resume, not just in Singapore, but also internationally. The idea of these travel bubbles or green lane arrangements that we put in place with various countries is that, first of all, we'll be talking to countries where we believe the virus situation is under control, number one. Number two, the testing protocols have to be put in place, which means that a traveler before departure will have to be tested, a PCR test, or if they have, they've already been infected before, then it could be a serology test, but we have to work out exactly what that testing arrangements is. The verification of the test results is also important. And then the traveler travels by air to Singapore. We may subject the person to another PCR test because, remember, as we have highlighted before and explained before, one test alone might not be able to pick up the virus, especially when it's in the incubation period. So when the person arrives after a few more days, we might require another test just to verify. And if the testing arrangements are in place, then there need not be a 14-day quarantine period, right? Because you have the test protocols to assure you that this traveler is infection-free. So this will be for those incoming to Singapore. It will also be those outgoing from Singapore to that particular country. And reciprocal arrangements will then be made.